Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Saturday, August 20th, 2022, 11:07 a.m. Eastern Time. Chad Xavier Visions here, Black Guy Dipping. What are we going to talk about? We have two different topics that we want to talk about. So we're just trying to decide last minute what's, going to be the first one we popped it off with, which one we're feeling more like talking about. Um, One of them is an idea, like an invention, an innovation, a contribution, a technological contribution, and philosophical contribution to the elemental properties of cinematography and filmmaking history, the industry itself. Something that can be applied by the entire industry, actually change the entire industry, like be one of the first filmmakers who literally came up with the vision for his own camera, just his first camera. That one just, that was the second camera idea I have. The first camera idea I have is way huger than the first camera, than the second idea I had. So if you think the second idea is big, then just imagine the first one. I don't know how to make that first one happen yet. It's coming because we have transhumanism technology now. So we're in the transhumanism era, the transhumanism revolution. We're officially in the 42-year era right now, man. And I have a film idea based on that. I have another film idea based on that. I have two film ideas based on transhumanism. One of them is an entire cinematic universe. The other one, I can put that one in the universe. That definitely will go in there, but I want to give it like a spin-off prequel as a horror film because it's just a terrifying idea of a horror film. It's terrifying, and it fits right along with transhumanism. So I definitely want to have a lot of transhumanism projects and just be kind of known for that. That that counts as sci-fi automatically. So I solved my first goal of wanting to make sci-fi films, and that seeming like the hardest genre to make them in, and all the other genres being easier and more so fantasy for me, I guess. But when I look back on my writing, I wonder like how much of sci-fi do I actually have? Actual science fiction. I have a lot of fantasy, all these other genres, but because you wanted to do sci-fi, but you definitely didn't want to only do sci-fi. So you wanted to be a, it's like, well, what kind of films do you like to do the most? Well, we're talking fiction genre. Well, my genre would be sci-fi. Starting off, just to keep it true to myself at 17, 18, 19, sci-fi, sci-fi fantasy. And then I ended up leaning more towards fantasy to help with certain ideas I had. And they might count as sci-fi. It's up to however it's calibrated, but I might have a lot of sci-fi, but I definitely now want to consciously make more sci-fi. And that counts as transhumanism. It's the same thing. So boom, I killed two birds with one stone. I want to write more stuff about sci-fi. I want to write more stuff about the emerging technologies that I'm investing in. I just want to make stories about those industries, like biometrics. Make a science fiction novel, film about biometrics and artificial intelligence and robotics and just transhumanism technologies. Period. And then boom, you're good. Just write about all those technologies. Just make fictional stories about all those technologies. Just really stay ahead of the curve and show the future that you saw it coming. You know what I'm saying? So for the rest of the future, you have clout. Even when you're dead, but you just have that clout. Just like this guy saw the future, he really saw all this stuff coming, and I want to just be honest about everything I see coming. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I see a lot of stuff coming, so that's it's gonna be interesting, and so I can call some of this stuff coming. And some of the stuff coming is absolutely terrifying. And if I'm not alive when it happens, then don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for you, man. You got to deal with that. I don't. It's real tough. Who you feel sorry for? Feel sorry for yourself, dude. You're still dealing with the madness. Where I'm at, it's just Chadless. Who am I? Tupac. Dottie Simpson. Shout out to Dottie Simpson. See you in the street, get smacked by somebody. It's not me. You know what I'm saying? Never said I was smacking Dottie Simpson. That's not what I said. I just said get smacked. Mm-hmm. Nah, bro. Dottie Simpson's an OG troll. Dottie Simpson OG, bro. Anyway, I don't know who Dottie Simpson is. It's just, oh, Tupac. You got jokes? You got jokes. Dottie Simpson got jokes. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Dottie Simpson's gonna make fun of me. I'm pulling out my hair. I'm stressed. It's crazy. Pulling it out. It's a clearance cell. It gotta go. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to keep my hair low, bro. And just start pulling my hair, bro. It's not cool. It's just not done. It's just not done. It's just not done. It's not done. It's just not done. You know, so AKA just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, um, the idea that I want to contribute to filmmaking, right? All right, so let's just pop it off with that, man. All right, so we have this idea for a camera, right? It's basically a virtual reality headset where you do nothing but just pour cameras inside of it. It's not really for virtual reality. It's just a virtual reality headset, and you're going to pour cameras inside of it. Now, when you pour cameras inside of it, you're going to put them in all angles and even on the back of the headset. So the entire headset is just full of cameras on all angles, right? So it's catching a 360-degree angle view of everything, right? So now when you do that, you automatically need to have multiple scenes shot for every scene. Now that means you're gonna have to have a scene where each character has the headset on separately from the other characters. So everything is cool and you can cut all that up together. Then you need to have the scene shot from the cameras pointing towards the back of the characters. And do that in every scene, no matter what's going on. That way, when the audience, if they are wearing some kind of headset as well or glasses or something, if they turn around, they can see whatever the camera sees, even if the character does not turn around, because there's a feed coming from behind the character's point of view, even if the character himself can't see it. That way, you're seeing the film from the perspective of the character that's in charge of the scene. The character the scene's based upon, or maybe even the opposite, the characters the scene's not based upon, maybe. That way, you see them just straight looking at him, so it's like that. So, that's going to make an entirely different interactive experience with the audience to where they can turn around and see the perspective of what's behind the character. And then of course you have in the movie a scene where there's somebody walking behind the character, and if the audience turns around they'll see it. So that's another thing. You can put like hidden Easter eggs in there if the audience fully moves around in all the frames. It's like, okay, when you're watching a movie you're trying to see what the director chose to put inside the scenes, and it's going so fast. So if you put a bunch of Easter eggs in those scenes of, but you have a virtual headset that the characters and the audience might have to wear as well. And now when they turn around in certain scenes, they might not catch every Easter egg. So it's like, I got to watch it again and keep turning around in all the scenes and see if I see anything. But most likely in the scene where like there's somebody walking behind the character, the audience, will see it if they turn around. If not, they'll eventually cut to another angle, and then you'll see him right there. You'll be like, oh crap. But then if you watch it back and then go back, you'll see he was there the whole time, walking up slowly. After a certain point, you're like, yo, this is crazy. So it's like just something like that. Now, what else? Like, what else about that idea? You're gonna have to have a lot more scenes, but it's going to be like this very wild experience for the audience. And when you're making the film, it just totally changes how you can make the film. Like you're putting Easter eggs inside of the scenes, and if the audience turns around in the headsets and catches them, they catch them, and they go back and watch them when they realize what happened after. If they didn't catch it, and they're like, hold up, what, that was going on? And then they go back and they can see it, so it's a real interactive thing. What else about the idea? It was not really sure what to call it, the camera. You know what I'm saying? As of now, I would just call it Chad Cam, just because Chad invented the camera, and so I come up with like a camera making company name, and then like it's just like Chad Cam. It's a Chad Cam, but it's like some wild stuff, and it's just to the Chad Films camera. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the VR movie. It's basically, I just created my own genre of film. That is a new genre of film. It might not even count as a new genre because genre would be like suspense, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, comedy, romance, romantic comedy, documentary, indie. Boom. So I don't even know what to call that. It's like its own. I just call it a genre for now, but it's not even a genre. It's a whole different way of film. It's like it's deeper than the change between 8mm and digital film. It is a VR headset capturing 360-degree angle of every scene. Now the audience can see everything shot by the camera. So of course you would have to have that one shot where nothing's going on in the scene, nobody's in the scene, and you're able to, or some people are in the scene and you're just able to get the entire 360 degree of an empty shot. Or if there are supposed to be people in that 360-degree shot, then you have them there. So it's like that, and then you would have to work on the blocking and how you would do that, But it was just like the film would jump between the point of views of all of the characters in the film. And then that in itself could give them a chance to narrate that part, that portion, that part of the film itself. So boom, we do stuff like that. So okay, what that does, man, is that is its own genre of film. I just created my own type of film. So I just put that out there for the universe. If I never even get to see that product actually happen and make the film itself, I'm still the grandfather and pioneer of the vision of it, and someone out there with the technical capabilities as an engineer and technician is going to have to physically code that and morph it into reality. But I can at least just share the vision, and I just ask that, because it was my vision and I'm sharing all of, what I see in my head for how this would work in a selfless manner of like knowing that there's a possibility that I'm just meant to share the information so it can get made. What's the objective? To change cinema history. What's the objective? To change cinema history. So, will this spilling the beans on this idea change cinema history? Yes, it will. Someone will eventually make this. And someone could be out there trying to make it without even knowing about this video. That's why you're spilling it, because you see the idea coming. If you don't make it yourself, someone else is going to make it. Someone is going to be working on it. Who wants it the most? So I'm going to at least put the full vision out to show I saw how it would go down. And you would just have to compare my vision to what actually comes out. And if what actually comes out fully matches my vision and doesn't have too many components that I didn't really bring up, it will show you that like they kind of had their own ideas before, or they just added more ideas to what I already laid down, but just check and see how much of my vision is in the foundation of what actually comes from this. But here's how I see it. So far, that's it. It's like it's the VR film. How does that work? So you can make it in any genre of films. I don't even know what to call it. It's not a genre, but it's gonna be called the VR film. It's the virtual reality film. It's like the IMAX camera. It's its own camera, like IMAX, and deeper than IMAX. IMAX is just like this huge camera. Nothing against it though. It's a super huge camera. You know what I'm saying? I will eventually buy an IMAX camera, find out how much they cost, and buy one. Or like hire someone to make me a camera that's just like as similar to an IMAX as possible, basically. Like real talk, like I definitely do want to do a camera company where I'll be like the Apple of cameras. My real talk, like Steve Jobs of cameras. Easy. It's a camera. Like I'm a filmmaker. I already know how a camera should be for a filmmaker. Like, okay, another idea. Boom. My second camera. It would be a camera that has the editing software already inside of it. Like you have to be able to edit the whole thing on the camera. You have to be able to plug up your USB so you can import files, so you can import your soundtracks and everything. You know what I'm saying? All your other files you would import into your thing, you can import files into the camera. You know what I'm saying? Like you can import the files into the camera. Like you can import whatever audio. Like you just have a whole separate setup for the editing software. Even if the editing software is its own block, like a PlayStation Portable, have it the size of a PlayStation Portable. If you give me an application, give me a piece of technology the size of a PlayStation Portable, and the objective, what it's able to do is I can edit a video on it. I'm good. Just got to be like that big. You know what I'm saying? That like this wide. You know what I'm saying? What like the width, the length, right? The length, no, the length, and the width is like what some. You know what I'm saying? Length, height, and like the width. How thick. You know what I'm saying? Bigger than your good booty. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you about the width, but just make it this long length and this, high up. Maybe size of my head if you could, that big, but not, just something like that. And then that long, PSP, like that. Just boom, 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 boom. Maybe touchscreen if you can, boom. Stylus, let me get a stylus, definitely a stylus, and make sure when you make the editing software, it's just like Sony Vegas. Basically, you just put Sony Vegas in there. Just, Sony Vegas, just hook up with this camera and just give them, because I support Sony Vegas, right? So do Sony Vegas, right? And just, I say Sony Vegas because what I love about that, besides anything else, is that you can zoom in so much. You can zoom into a millisecond. So it has to be able to zoom into a millisecond. You have to be able to really edit the audio, really trim it like to the millisecond, like to 5 seconds, to 1 second. I can zoom in that much where I'm looking at every second. I'm looking at every 5 seconds. I'm like, yo, this is a lot. And I see right there, that right there when I was breathing, right? Okay, I got to cut that out. Boom. So I zoom in all the way. I cut that out. So then when you come out, you can see all these little spaces and stuff. It's like you really chopped it up. Like, you just boom, boom, boom. And you just put your fade in, transitions, and you can put it back together, have it back to back if you want to. Leave a space in there, just nothing. Just nothing. And just, whoop. It's just, whoop. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You listen through everything, you just, whoop. Oh, that was disgusting. Whoop. That was disgusting. Whoop. You just, take out all the nasty biological noises you make after talking for an hour and like, all that mouth, all that silence. So you gotta have a camera where you can edit on it, bro. And if the camera gotta be bigger or it has to be a separate application, but just a mini editing software. I gotta look that up to see if they already have one. You just need a mini editing software. But if you could have one on the camera or one that can be attached to the camera or whatever, both of them have to have USB drives. You can plug up stuff to put files and maybe even the Wi-Fi so you can send files there if possible. But I've never personally done that with those cameras that had those capabilities. I've never used Wi-Fi and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Kind of too new for me, but it was like whatever. Maybe I didn't have Wi-Fi at the moment, or sometimes it's a camera, so you're outside a lot. So you're not gonna really have Wi-Fi like that. But in a hotel, sometimes I would have it on like Wi-Fi, but I never really messed with it. But I know that's possible. People do that, so wirelessly transfer the files over. But you just have to be able to put the files on there, zoom in as much as you can, put a bunch of transitions, titles, sequences, title cards, and just like that, because they have it for phone.